Hey everyone, Art here, co-host of the show. Just a heads up, today's episode is a little different than most. We're revisiting a previous topic, simulation theory, with our friends, since Andy wasn't available. So you'll hear me introduce our two friends, then it'll jump back to Andy and I presenting the research on the topic, then it'll jump back again to me and our friends discussing the topic. So a little bit of a different format, but anyway, let's get to the show. Bye-bye.
In Chicago, two comedian skeptics named Andy and Art were mysteriously abducted by the illusionary mastermind and conspiracy theorist known only as Mr. Bunker. The following serves as a record of Bunker's attempt to convince non-believers of the truth about conspiracies and paranormal activity. Andy and Art give an uninterrupted presentation and verdict on the plausibility of these offbeat topics, delivering what they call the whole enchilada. Will Mr. Bunker convince these two skeptics any of this is real? Will it convince you?
And welcome to Mr. Bunker's Conspiracy Time podcast. As always, I'm your co-host, Arthur Stone, and with me, as always, is not Andy. That's right, listeners. Andy's not here today. I only have a vague idea of what is up. Bunker did not capture him. Andy sent me a text saying that he's starting his own YouTube prank channel where all the pranks are him farting on people. That's every single prank is he's just going to go around and fart on people. And he's starting a YouTube prank show. And Bunker said, you know what? I'm going to give him the week off. And I said, that's ridiculous. You can't give Andy the week off because he's starting a YouTube prank show where all he does is fart on people. It's fucking disgusting. Regardless, I'm here. Bunker captured me and he brought me down because I'm actually here to do some damn work. We'll get into it. But it's not just me. Bunker, unfortunately, or fortunately for you, also brought along my two good friends. One of them you might know, one of them's new. Let's get him on the show. Our guests today are actors and comedians, and one is a bit of a vigilante. Please welcome to the Bunker, Jimmy Gribbin and Nick Simon, my two friends.
Hello, Art.
Hi, Jimmy.
How you doing?
Hi, Art.
Hi, Nick. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the Bunker.
Which one's the vigilante?
Probably Jimmy. I'm sorry. Probably Jimmy. Jimmy is trained in multiple martial arts. He is a covert ops sniper.
Flown around the world.
Spared
no expense.
Spared no expense. No, that's not true. Jimmy's just a guy who, I don't know, lives in a crawl space probably.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, welcome to the Bunker. You know, I'm sorry that you guys had to get captured this day. I don't know where. Andy's starting a prank YouTube channel where he farts on people for money, I guess. I guess he's going to try and start making some money off of his body and what it does. So,
what would you call the pink eye guy? Something like that? You're farting on people? The pink eye guy?
Yeah.
The pink.
Yeah. I mean, maybe that's going to be his moniker. I don't know. We'll see how long it lasts.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Bunker. You know, a little layout here. There's an open-faced toilet in the back. So, you know, be courteous, flush and whatnot.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
There's snacks. There's some candy left over. But, you know, listeners, let's talk about what we're talking about today, right? We got a bit of a weird topic. We're revisiting. They're passing around the candy bowl here, Jimmy and Nick. Nick's got a Kit Kat. That's
you
lovely.
wouldn't have known it. I was that quiet about it.
Well, you did it very stealthily. We'll see if it gets picked up. But we're doing kind of a weird revisiting today. Since we don't have Andy and we don't have like a new topic, Bunker said, why don't you revisit an old one? We're revisiting simulation theory. Now, simulation theory is a very popular topic. It's the idea that our entire world is like a computer simulation. It's made up, right? It's a fabrication that we all live in, and we're all little pieces of code in an interconnected consciousness across the web of this weird universe. And we're going to revisit it today with our friends Jimmy and Nick. So a little bit different here. We're going to reuse the research that Andy and I previously did, but the discussion is going to be me, Jimmy, and Nick. So listeners, if you want to get right to all that action, I'll leave a timestamp in the show notes where you can skip right ahead to both the research or the discussion. So there will be a timestamp in the show notes. Check it out, and you can go straight ahead to all that stuff. But first, I'm going to talk to my guests today, Jimmy and Nick. Every week, the titular Mr. Bunker captures us in a new and peculiar way, right? And you guys unfortunately were succumbed to that. Succumbed. Yeah. So Jimmy, Nick, whoever wants to go first, let us know how did the titular Mr. Bunker capture you this week?
I got caught. I was I'm a chef at a monastery and a nunnery.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
a combination monastery nunnery.
They keep them separate. They
keep them
wall.
separate, but it's kind of like a combination KFC Taco Bell.
Exactly. And one of the nurses,
one of the nerds,
one of the the nuns.
Yeah.
Sister Vicky, she had said that she was thinking about leaving the nunnery.
She was going to leave.
Yeah, so I met up with her for BLTs. We were talking for I'm sorry, is that funny?
I mean, it's just a very peculiar sandwich, but I guess nuns enjoy a BLT, right?
Yeah. Is there a better sandwich than BLT? Let me ask you that.
Yes, an Italian sub is far better than a BLT.
Italian sub? Interesting.
An Italian sandwich.
I know what an Italian, like a hoagie.
Maybe like a peanut butter and jelly.
All right, thanks, Nick.
Okay. I mean, I don't get you wrong there, Nick. A PB&J for a lot of our youth was the sandwich.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't have peanut butter anymore. Slightly allergic to it, so it's kind of fallen out of favor with me. But I like a PB&J, Nick. But, Nick, you are a vegetarian, so I guess meat is not on the table for you.
Yeah, no.
But back when you weren't a vegetarian, what was your favorite kind of slice?
Oh, there's like a liver. Yeah, a BLT was good.
Did you just say liver?
Liver sausage, like the pate. Did you ever have that?
You went from like 0 to 60 with like
Nick,
the hardcore meat
hard.
to absolutely no meat.
You went like a meat mousse.
Yeah.
It's like a sausage.
I would put like mustard and mayonnaise on it, and sometimes it would have like weird pimento in it, and
you would eat this
in
high school?
Oh yeah,
foie gras
for lunch.
No foie.
That's
foie gras
barbaric
is a little
stuff.
too much.
That's too much.
It's delicious, but
a
it's
little too rich.
Oh, okay.
So you were making BLTs with a nun.
Well, we went to a nice restaurant. We went to a 5-star, and
a 5-star Michelin restaurant to get BLTs.
They gave us an extra
Classic.
one. Fast forward, I'm sailing off the coast of South America, the Straits of Magellan. My ship crashes.
Wait.
And next thing I know, I'm essentially like in a Club Med
What
resort.
happened to the nun?
I don't know.
Wait, fast forward.
I literally, this is years in the making.
Okay.
I literally do not, I hope she's okay. Sister Vicky, I don't know her last name. We never got that far.
Sister Miss Vicky.
We spent one night together and that was it. And I end up on this Club Med resort that's run by a group of Nazi sympathizers in Chile. Unbeknownst to me.
Wow.
And I'm captive there. I'm being held against my will. And guess who my cellmate is? A Mr. B-U-N.
K-E-R. Wow, Mr. Bunker was your cellmate.
So he says, I'm going to build a tunnel, dig a tunnel under the bunker here, which is where he got his name.
Okay.
I don't know if you knew that.
Wow.
That's an origin story.
I didn't know that.
I'm sure Marvel's going to pick this up ASAP. And so we dig from Chile all the way through a lot of dirt all the way to Ecuador. And then we come out and here I am.
You came out in Ecuador, and then somehow you got to the bunker where we don't know where it's at. So somehow Mr. Bunker captured you after you got to
Once
Ecuador.
you get close to the equator and the Bermuda Triangle, everything's thrown off.
Wow.
So who knows?
You guys work together. Wow.
Yeah.
I think that's a first. We've never had Mr. Bunker work together with someone he's capturing to bring them in. Wow, that's crazy. Wow. Man, you went all over. I mean, you threw us a curveball. That nun story almost didn't matter at all.
Yeah.
I would agree.
Wow.
It was like a preface.
Yeah. It was like a weird, like a.
There's a preface. What's the other one?
And then the actual
Before a book.
story, and then you kind of have to.
Well, there's always like author's note or like something. Yeah.
Or like in Shakespeare, there's like the chorus in the beginning sometimes. And you're like, oh, how does this relate to the main story? And it's like, well, that's up to you to find out.
Yeah.
I found if I'm trying to read a new book and I read the preface or the author's note, I never get around to starting chapter 1. I say, fuck this. I have to just start with chapter 1 and then go back later.
Wow. Jimmy, that's incredible. That is really a voyage. You went on a voyage.
Thank you.
Wow, Nick. So,
Wow.
Nick, how did Mr. Bunker capture you? I mean, he
I-
was digging tunnels in Ecuador and Chile, and how did he get you?
Mine's not that exotic.
Well, that's okay.
I was.
Doesn't
I
need to be exotic.
I went to. I was out,
You
and
were
I was.
Okay.
I went to the CarMax. I was going to rent a car.
You're going to rent a car from CarMax.
Yeah, I needed.
You got to get the Carfax.
I gotta get the car. I should have checked the
Did you
car.
see the Carfax?
I saw the Carfax. I didn't check
Okay.
the Carfax. And when I was at the car rental place, the guy behind the counter, he was wearing this big mustache. And he was just like, "Here you go, full tank of gas."
What are we talking? Are we talking like a Fu Manchu? Are we talking like a big old
It
handlebar?
was like
Caterpillar?
yeah,
Caterpillar.
It was like a caterpillar.
Also,
but
what's
it-
the lip thing that sounds like CarMax?
CarMax.
CarMax. You're thinking.
Is it the same thing?
CarMax.
Oh shit! Okay.
Yeah,
They're not
there's-
the same company.
No, yeah, it's not.
You can't go to CarMax and rent a car.
they should buy one another out. Like they should
I'm sure they
have,
both use petroleum in some
in some
aspect.
capacity. I'm sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was gonna rent the car. I needed to get to.
What kind of car?
It was gonna be a Honda Accord, just for
Pretty standard.
pretty standard car.
What are you talking? 2019, 2018, 2017?
I mean, it's 20. This is like I could have gone with a 2016. At this point, and I was like, just give me whatever.
You just need anything. You
Just give
needed
me
a
whatever I need.
freaking car.
I wanted to get. I had to get to Applefest, and so I was getting.
Is that in Wisconsin?
Yeah, I had to go to Wisconsin for.
Is that for the new iPhone or something?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's the Apple Fest.
When in Wisconsin Applefest, what they do is when you purchase an iPhone, they usually give you a bag of Gala apples,
Okay.
just kind of like as a wink and a nod. It's Wisconsin, but like I was like,
That's cute.
it's cute. I was kind of short on groceries. I needed to get a new phone. Let's go. So when I was at the counter, the guy behind was just like, bring it back with a full thing of gas, and just bring it back. And
He's real mumbly, real
he's really
weird,
mumbly,
real
he's
sketch.
a little kind of shifty.
And you're a jumpy guy.
I'm a jumpy guy to begin with,
so
I
you were
was-
immediately red flags.
Yeah, I was like, well, this is kind of weird, but I'm like, but I gotta go.
I need to go to
gotta
Apple Fest.
So I run outside with the keys in hand, and I get in the Honda Accord. I open up the car door, and I start turning the keys in the ignition, and there's no noise. It sounds like bu- 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 I'm like, that's kind of a weird. It's like a human noise.
It's your alternator.
Oh, it sounded like a human making that noise.
Sound like a human
Oh.
making noise. And I'm like, this is right when I start the car. So I'm like, I'm not gonna go in and trouble this guy. He's got a lot on his plate.
Well, that's kind.
I open up the hood,
That's kind of not your MO, though.
not to bug him.
I feel like you'd march right in there and
I would.
lay the pipe down.
I would lay the pipe
You'd
down.
lay pipe.
He's like
Yeah.
a male Karen, like all those memes. When the Karen's got the super haircut.
No. I think, Nick, your MO is to get mad about it,
Uh-huh.
but not do anything about it.
Yeah,
Is that
it's
correct?
very passive aggressive. I would
Okay.
probably pull my wallet out to show like my card.
Yeah.
Be like, I did purchase it here.
You would tweet something.
Yeah, I take a photo.
Really thought I had good service at
Yeah.
CarMax.
Yeah, I go on Yelp immediately and be like, well, think about it.
You should
it
start
could go-
tagging the opposite company.
CarMax.
Hurts.
CarMax gave me herpes from their product.
Just one big settlement. Just give me money. And I was like, hey, sorry to bug you,
Yeah.
but the car I just rented from you guys.
Mhm.
You shouldn't be
It-
sorry.
Well, I apologize, but
Mistake number
and I
one.
said, it's making a weird noise, and he said, oh, well, just go back out there and try it. And I was just like, oh, okay. So I walked back out there, and I popped open the hood, and this person jumps out from the hood of the car where the engine would be, and there's no engine. And he throws a fishing net over
my
me.
God, classic.
And
I already
it
know
just-
what's up.
It's Jason Momoa.
And there was a laugh, a giggle, and immediately, I don't know if it was the net, I don't know if it was just the panic, but I blacked out. And next thing I know, I'm waking up in the bunker.
Wow. It was
And-
Bunker. Bunker was the motor. That's a classic. You got hit in a classic way, Nick. Bunker hides, pretends he's an engine, pretends he's something else, and then hits it with a net.
I don't know if it's the net or whatever the case is, but I really got to work on myself.
That's like the babysitter urban legend.
What are you talking about?
The call is coming from inside the house.
Oh, yeah.
The engine noise is coming from inside the car.
Yeah, well.
Classic.
Where
It's
else
a
is it
killer.
coming
got.
from? You got. Wow. Well, two polar opposite bunker captures, but classic bunker nonetheless. So again, we're talking simulation theory today, folks. It's a heady topic. It definitely gets in the head, and it messes with your brain, right?
Mm.
But
If you let it.
We'll get into it. We'll get into a deeper discussion of the topic a little bit after the research. But, let's get to know you two a little bit. Let's the listeners get to know you boys a little bit since you're kind of sitting in the hot seat here.
Absolutely.
Jimmy, we kind of talked to you. You were a guest on our Red Ghost episode already. So we
Yes.
talked a little bit about some of your experience with the paranormal, with ghosts, with conspiracies. But Nick, what about you? Where do you stand on... Are you more of a believer or a skeptic when it comes to things like that?
I'm a skeptic with ghosts.
Okay, you're very skeptical of ghosts.
Ghosts, I feel like there's like energy,
Yeah,
but
you
it's
feel energies.
not. I don't believe in like a person that
Yeah, okay.
was showing up.
Okay.
Um,
So yeah, poltergeist.
Poltergeist.
You don't agree with poltergeist or
No.
hauntings?
No.
Now, listeners don't know this, but I know this because I know you, Nick.
Uh-huh.
You are a big horror fan. You love horror. You love monster movies. You love monsters.
Yeah.
You love spooky, scary stuff.
Yeah.
You're big into that kind of stuff.
Big.
So you have a lot of knowledge of all those different things,
Mhm.
but you're skeptical of poltergeists and hauntings, but you definitely are more spiritual when it comes to energies, auras, and whatnot. like
Sure.
that. Okay.
Sure.
Okay. We
Yeah.
can get down with that.
Oh.
Jimbo, what do you think?
I believe it all.
You believe it all?
I believe it all.
Wow.
Ghosts,
Jimmy's just
politicians,
ready to Okay.
priests,
Yeah.
kids,
Okay. All right.
animal rights,
God. Jimmy-
Vatican II.
The Reckoning, Vatican II.
The Haunting of Vatican II. No, yeah, like I said last episode, I think the world's more fun when you believe all that shit.
Oh.
Yeah, you're definitely down to pound. You're ready to fucking rock and roll and
Yeah.
have fun. When
Give it to
comes
me. Give me anything.
You're
I'll
like,
buy
let's
it.
go on this ride.
Fuck it. Flat. The Earth is flat and it's round. It can be both. Why limit your shapes are fluid? Let's go. Come on. Saddle up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Nick, what about some other stuff? What about what about UFOs,
Yeah.
aliens?
I believe that.
You believe in that
Yeah.
stuff. You're
Yeah.
into that stuff.
Yeah.
You're into alien sightings.
Yeah. Alien sites.
hmm
4chan, UFO.
Fortune?
Okay.
Yeah.
Have you
What
ever
is that?
experienced a UFO or anything like that? You ever experienced anything? You ever seen anything living out in the country?
So my family has property out in like Midwest, like Illinois, like
Yeah.
mid Illinois.
Yeah.
And every summer, like we'll go out there. And there was one time there was like weird like blinking lights on the way to the property.
Okay.
And like there was no explanation. There was like there's nothing nearby, like an airfield or anything like that. So it was just kind of weird. So that was kind of like
Saw some blinking lights.
some blinking lights.
Okay, but nothing too major. No floating tic tacs in the sky.
Oh,
No shapes that change color and change form.
No.
Okay. Jimmy, what about you? You lived out in the desert. You're a desert man.
Yeah.
You ever see? I don't think we asked you last time. You ever seen any UFOs out there in the desert?
Well, when I lived in Tucson, I went on a date once, a first date with this gal that I had met at a bar, and we had a great time. We were eating at a steakhouse.
So this is probably like 30, 40 years ago.
It would have been 1983. Yeah,
Okay.
you're right on the money.
Keep going.
And after dinner, she said, you know what? I actually have to leave a little bit early. And I said, that's weird. She's like, yeah. And I said, all right. So she leaves. I pay the tab because that's what I do. And the
Gentleman.
server comes around and they said, did you enjoy your meal, sir? And I said, yes, I did. Sorry, my date had to leave a little bit early. And the server goes, what date? And then at that point, I realized that I'd been eating alone that whole time.
Oh.
Fuck you, Jimmy. You had me.
Wow.
I was so
That's a
into
true
it.
story.
That's not a fucking true story.
That was a large marge. That was wow.
No, yeah, I did talk about the aliens that I'd seen in the sky with my cousins in the back of a pickup.
That's right, you did.
Back before the left won the cultural war, and you can have kids in the back of a pickup without seatbelts.
That's
Yeah,
right.
The good old days.
You
They,
mentioned that,
they
Jimmy.
lost. Yeah.
Okay. So third topic here, Nikki. What about conspiracies in general? You know, we could get big as like 9/11 inside job type stuff, you know, New World Order, reptilia, you know, all sorts of shit. How do you usually fare on that kind of stuff? Are you even into that kind of stuff?
Oh yeah. There's a lot that I like, but it's kind of pick and choosy.
Yeah.
For me,
Mhm.
it's kind of like who's presenting the
Sure.
conspiracy. If it's like really kind of like mild and kind of like just more material, like there's no gray room for like error, then I'm like, yeah, I can.
Like an MK Ultra.
Yeah, I can get into that.
Where there's like
yeah.
government documents
Yep.
where they basically say like, yeah, we did that stuff.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
That shit happened.
Yep.
It happened.
Basically, yeah. And then
And you're
like,
now you're speculating, is it still happening?
yeah, like the
Did it-
Montauk experiment.
Sure,
Yeah,
sure.
That one always intrigues me.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, it depends on like the delivery.
Okay.
Who's delivering it?
Right.
It's good. But
Yeah.
Epstein.
Epstein's a big one.
Yeah.
Epstein's
kind of
proof that shit happens.
The big one that's kind of happening in our time that I think
Yeah.
even people who would never even care or look into a conspiracy theory or even UFOs, ghost shit, can look and say like, yeah, something's up.
the
Am I right?
cameras
Yeah.
were off.
yeah.
The guards were doing online shopping, not paying
Yeah.
attention.
He did a
Like,
pogo stick off his head all of a sudden
yeah, I mean,
just to save Bill and Hillary and
I know
Trump and Bill Gates and all these globalists.
Yeah.
Prince Andrew also implicated in these things.
Who's Prince Andrew? Is that one of Princess Diana's kids?
No. No.
No, he's part of the royal family
Yeah.
in the UK.
yeah.
Anyway, I know Epstein
the
is
royals.
a huge topic, but and it's definitely something that we want to cover on this show eventually one day. But we're kind of letting it. I want to see where it goes.
Yeah.
It's still developing. Like if we did an episode right now, we wouldn't have all the information. So we're still.
But it's going to go away. No one's covering it.
Well, yeah, I know, and we'll see what happens. You know, but if you know Bunker, it's a big topic. There's a lot to research with it. So you know, when Bunker feels the time is right, we will look into it. So, okay, that's kind of your feeling. Okay, so you guys are both a little bit. You're on board. You guys aren't major skeptics, but you're ready to party.
Yes.
Today's topic, like I said, not very conspiracy based. Not we're kind of more into the realm of consciousness and philosophy and metaphysics and such. And we'll talk about some really interesting stuff. I definitely want to give a presentation of the delayed choice quantum erasure. I want to talk about the double slit experiment. I want to talk to you guys about religion. I want to talk to you guys about, artificial intelligence and whether we think we will reach that singularity. So all of that and more is coming up here on Mr. Bunker's Conspiracy Time podcast. But let's get into some of the research that Andy and I did many moons ago. And then we'll be back with Nick and Jimmy to discuss everything about how all of this is nothing. Right here on Mr. Bunker's Conspiracy Time podcast. Over the past few years, tech mastermind and noted meme connoisseur Elon Musk stated that he believes there is a 1 in a billion chance that we are the base reality, meaning simply that we may live in a simulation and that in the very near future, our reality will become indistinguishable from the game simulations we play.
Simulation theory is a hypothesis that proposes that all of reality is a simulation and that computers are dictating our every choice. While past civilizations have had similar discussions and conundrums, now more than ever, the idea that our reality is not in fact our reality seems like our reality. Are we living in a computer simulation? How do we know what is real? How do we explain phenomena such as deja vu? Did a higher power simulate us based on themselves? Are we that higher power? Is the burrito I ate for lunch the burrito I chose to eat? Or is some 0011 robot dictating whether I'm shilling out 80 cents for guac today?
Musk, in an interview at Vox Media, remarked that 40 years ago we had Pong. Now, 40 years later, we have photorealistic 3D simulations with millions of people playing, and it's getting better every year. 40 or 100 years from now, could there be the computing power necessary to simulate an entire universe?
Current VR technology already hacks the brain neurologically, so it's basically making our eyes perceive a reality that doesn't exist. Augmented reality technology gets stronger every year, so it's just a matter of time until it masks what we perceive as our reality. It's not an unfathomable concept.
But there are some complex factors outside of this that explore just how close that future could and might be. Oxford professor Nick Bostrom sets up his simulation theory like this in 3 separate ideations. 1. The human species is very likely to go extinct before reaching a post-human age. 2. Any post-human civilization is extremely unlikely to run a significant number of simulations of their evolutionary history, or variations thereof. Or 3, we are almost certainly living in a computer simulation.
Now, Bostrom isn't arguing that either statement has more merit than the other, but rather that one of the statements is true. If the first 2 are not true, then there are more people living in simulations than in the real world.
If option 1 is true, we go extinct before we get the chance to really explore total harmony between man and machine. This can happen in a plethora of fun ways like natural disasters, nuclear war, or our favorite, molecular nanobacteria that consumes all organic matter. This future sure looks bleak.
In option 2, the future Matrix architects possess the ability to run computer simulations of the entirety of the human race, but don't. Why? Well, one reason might be ethics. If we are the avatars of simulated humans bouncing around this virtual world, is that ethical? Is creating a human race immoral? Do the architects of our pain and suffering not feel any remorse for giving us a reality in which we feel pain and suffering? Would future architects feel it immoral to stand idle while us virtual folk commit atrocities against one another?
Maybe it's not all bad. Maybe the post-human architects are so advanced that they don't need to run a computer simulation of their ancestors. If you're at the point where man and machine are almost intertwined, do you really need to look to the past for answers? Instead of running a virtual Westworld for their own amusement, maybe they simply electrically stimulate the pleasure centers of the brain and call it a day. Recreational activities like video games would be silly to advanced folks of the singularity.
Either way, we can't possibly know how future humans with immense computer power will behave. But what we do know is that current humans love to play in virtual worlds, and current humans feel almost no remorse for locking their Sims in bathrooms and setting the house on fire while they pee on the floor. So, post-humanity will require some significant changes to their motivations.
That brings us to option 3, which suggests that we are almost certainly living in a computer simulation. Before we break this down any further, we should crunch a few numbers and see what kind of computer power we'd need to run a simulation of the entire universe. Because let's face it, the GTX 1080 and Ryzen 2700 we're recording this episode on isn't going to cut it.
We'd need a pretty complex computer able to fake reality well enough to simulate all of mankind existing. While science is making leaps and bounds in terms of processing power, again, 40 years ago we had Pong, what exactly would we need to simulate a single human? A human brain is much like a computer. It relies on a series of inputs and processes information as electrical signals. So, for example, your ears decode the sound of this podcast, parts of your brain decode what I'm saying and interpret it so you can understand it, your eyes read the time left in the podcast, and so on. And you do all this in nanoseconds without realizing it. Scientists have made attempts to replicate neural tissues and approximate that the human brain can run 10 to the 14th power operations per second.
But in reality, we can't interpret all information surrounding us that fast. So a computer would need only to simulate as much as we can take in, which is much less than simulating cortical activity in general. But what about the world around us? the ground, the trees, the birds in the sky? Well, the computer would only need to simulate only what is around us so that we don't notice any irregularities. It goes back to the old, if a tree falls in the forest and nobody is around to hear it, does it really make a sound argument? On top of that, an advanced computer would only need to include certain properties for simulated objects, like texture, appearance, weight. Anything microscopic could be added in the simulation ad hoc.
That all seems like a tall order, but computers are really powerful already and really efficient. Scientists such as Eric Drexler are working on designs for a computer the size of a sugar cube that can run 10 to the 21st power operations a second. This again goes back to the Pong analogy. If computer designs today already can outperform a human brain in terms of functional power, what will they look like in another 40 years? As computer power advances and our research into quantum computing improves, what would it take to simulate an entire universe? Bostrom outlines the idea of a computer the size of a planet based on current nanotechnological design, which are far from optimal, that can produce 10 to the 42nd power operations per second. A computer of this magnitude would have no problem simulating the entirety of the human race.
This is a lot to take in, but physicist and consciousness researcher Tom Campbell breaks it down like this. He uses World of Warcraft as an example. In the game, you have your avatar, your dwarf fighter or your level 80 Tauren warlock. You, the player, control the avatar through your computer. The avatar exists in a reality that is unaware of the computer being used to control it. It only knows that when you input a certain key, it either jumps or moves or attacks. We, the player, are the avatar's consciousness. Without our input, the avatar doesn't do anything. It is unconscious. Campbell says that if this world is a virtual reality or simulation, then the computer used to create our world and the consciousness used to direct input to that world must both be outside the created world of our reality. Our bodies are avatars, and our consciousness is outside of our physical world.
Consciousness is an information system. It relies on input from the world around it through our 5 senses, and this is how we define our reality. Our consciousness is individualized. There is no way to know what someone else is perceiving or interpreting. But we all have individual consciousnesses working together like a real information system, and the purpose of it is to grow and give feedback and optimize. The way we do this is very similar to leveling up our avatars in WoW. We cooperate, we work together, we gain experiences, we spread love.
Let's bring it back to the physical world for a moment and discuss the double slit experiment. Campbell and many other simulation theorists reference this experiment as another example of a bizarre phenomenon that could explain why we live in a simulation. So without putting you to sleep like Mr. Johnson's honors physics class, the double slit experiment was essentially an experiment where scientists shot a beam of electrons at a wall with 2 identical slits cut in it at a significant distance apart. Now there was a backdrop behind the slit-cut wall to catch the electrons. What they found was that when the electrons were undetected, meaning they didn't use a device to monitor what the electrons did as they passed through the slits, they behaved much like a wave. There was a diffraction pattern spread across the backdrop, and this is highly unusual. But it gets weirder. When the electrons were detected, they behaved like particles would. There were 2 orderly silhouettes that appeared on the backdrop where the slits were cut. This is especially weird because no one expected electrons to act like a wave, but no one especially expected the electrons to act in an orderly fashion when being messed with by a detector. This experiment raised a lot more questions than it answered. Is it another act of weird quantum shenanigans? Or is it the computer simulation adding information in as needed?
The craziness of simulation theory dates real far back. Humans have always posited theories on reality versus simulation. Descartes asked us to imagine an extracted brain in a vat, stimulated by fake sensory input. How do we know we aren't all brains in a big tub somewhere? The idea is interesting, but the practice and longevity of such an experience is non-existent, so it looks like it may not be true. But can we ever know?
Most major religions ask us to believe in a higher power, controlling and creating. This in and of itself is a form of simulation. If one believes that a super being can formulate an entire reality, how is this different than the potential idea of an advanced societal power doing the same thing with a computer? Most Judeo-Christian religions believe in the idea of an afterlife. One could argue that this is a form of simulation theory, that our reality is not the base reality, that there are other realities, such as heaven and hell, that do not conform to our physical laws of nature, but also influence our physical world.
Kabbalah posits a world full of individualized perceptions and illusions, i.e., my concept of the color blue is different than yours. The world is our subjectively perceived experience and highly influenced by not only our senses, but our souls. Does anything exist outside of us then? Are dreams mini simulations that echo a larger dream-adjacent life we're living?
In Hinduism, the concept of Maya is an often debated topic. It was originally interpreted as a magic power with which a god can make human beings believe in what turns out to be an illusion. Another perspective is that everything is governed by our consciousness, like how we attribute money to mean success and power.
Simulation theory spans many of the fields that govern our lives: religion, philosophy, physics. Are we living in a computer simulation? Does that matter? If our world was virtual, would our actions matter any less? Humanity will always question its origins, and as technology improves, it sometimes creates more questions than answers.
Welcome back, listeners. That was Andy and I's research of simulation theory. But now we're back in the bunk with Jimmy and Nick. Jimmy, Nick, let's get some blanket thoughts going here, right? Like, let's talk about simulation theory. Blanket thoughts. What are we thinking? Like, are we on the fence? Are we confused? Are we angry? Are we sad? Are we horny?
All above.
All of the above?
Yeah. It's very heady.
It's super heady.
Yeah.
It messes with your head. Jimmy, you don't like to have your head messed with.
I don't. No, I do.
you
I love being confused and perplexed. I usually am. I mean, if someone were on the street were to just come up to be like, "Can you explain what physics is in like 2 sentences?" I'd be like, "I don't have time for this because I don't know." But this stuff, it's I don't know.
You don't know yet.
I don't know.
Okay, you're not ready to make a decision. At the end, we do have to say,
I know what my decision is. I don't know how to explain anything about it.
Well, how about this? Let's talk about ourselves for a little bit. Have you guys ever had any like near-death experiences or weird deja vu experiences that kind of make you think like, holy shit, dude, we're in a matrix? Because Nick, you're nodding your head at me.
Yeah. There's been, I feel like I've had like a lot of deja vu just in my experience of life. But in a lot of the times, it just seems like, I don't know, like there's moments where I kind of pause and I'm like, what was that?
Yeah.
What does that mean? And I'm like, did I dream this?
Do you ever have any clairvoyance or like you're dreaming something and then it happens later that day and you're like, what the fuck, dude? I dreamed about this. You guys ever have anything like that?
I'm just trying to think of like a time that I kind of like predicted something that actually like kind of happened in a dream.
Doesn't even have to be a dream. You could be thinking about something. Like a lot of times people will think about a certain celebrity and then they'll die the next day. Be thinking about something.
My aunt and my cousin get that a lot. I think I talked about this one where my little cousin, she was like,
maybe,
is my great aunt okay? And she'd only met her when she was like 2. And she had actually died that day, and it was like 4 years later. They're like 6 years old. My aunt and uncle were like, "Why the fuck are you asking about your great aunt? You met her once when you were 2 years old, and you asked her about her today when she died."
Yeah.
But with the deja vu thing, I'll get it, and just being raised like Catholic and believing in God and an afterlife, I'm always like, and that everything happens for a reason. I'm like, oh, well, I'm having deja vu because I'm right where I'm supposed to be.
Right.
Everything's going on for a reason. But then all these scientists get in my head and they're like, no. That's because all these universes that are all artificially created, that's you running into it as someone else, or you're just repeating this. And it takes the...
You're meeting the giant consciousness web that we're all entangled
Yeah.
in. The giant information system in the sky, man.
Not as romantic, yeah.
No, not. I mean, let's change gears to the religious aspect of it. We kind of said this the last time that Andy and I talked about simulation theory, but a lot of major religions kind of feed into it, don't you think? Even in Christianity, the idea that this is not the base level.
What do you mean?
Heaven is this extra planar existence that we can go to where we're not bound by the same physical laws as we are here on Earth, right?
Yeah.
Most major religions kind of have something like that. I mean, lots of major religions like Buddhism or Kabbalah or even Hinduism or like ancient Olmecs like people believed that like this life was a dream, that you're living in a dream state.
Yeah.
That there's a greater consciousness. Taoism, there's this balance to the universe, this consciousness.
Live as if there's no afterlife, but act like there is one. Be nice to each other.
Jimmy,
everyone.
put that on a plaque. Live, let love. Live, laugh, love. What do you guys make of that? I mean, what do you think? How does
Well, there's that
how does religion play into this?
like a Chinese proverb, the butterfly thing.
Right.
Have you heard about this? That this Chinese like philosopher, he had a dream that he was a butterfly, and then he woke up, and then he was like, "Well, did I just have a dream that I was a butterfly, or am I a butterfly having a dream that I am now this Chinese man?" And then that was just like for him.
Okay.
Mind melding.
Nick?
I don't know. This is you guys. You guys are much smarter on this than I am with with this stuff.
There's literally no way I'm smarter about this than you.
There's no answers, Nick. There's no right or wrong.
This is one of those things that I could stay up all night thinking about because there is just I don't know. It's like if I have a dream and I'm like, when Gene Wilder passed away, I remember having a dream about Gene Wilder like a few days before, and then he was gone. And then I'm like,
Is it your fault?
Yeah, did I do something?
Well, what about this? Like in Christianity specifically, because the three of us come from that kind of background.
Yeah.
Even if it's not something that you agree with or believe in today.
You should.
They say that we are made in the image of God, right?
Uh-huh.
When God created man, he made us in his image, Imago Dei. Are we not then simulations of God's design, right? Is God this higher level omnipotent being that does not conform to our world? He can do whatever he pleases, right? Send plagues, change the world, do things, create matter, uncreate matter, which is things that we can't do. That's physically impossible.
Cannot be created nor destroyed.
Right. It just takes different forms. We're all kind of created in the image of God. We all have God within us, right? We're all God's design. We're all parts of God. So therefore, we're all kind of connected through this thread of a similar consciousness, God's consciousness. Huh?
Yeah.
Am I striking anything there? With
Yeah,
that?
I think.
Are we getting anywhere? Nick is like fucking in the couch, like he took a big old hit of some fucking hardcore ganj, and he's just like passed out.
Yeah, I got my belly hanging out, and
okay, all right, Nick, put your clothes back on.
I think the whole with Christianity, especially just because I know more about that, when you talk about an afterlife and being created in God's image, it all kind of lines up with simulation theory because it's all man-made ideas,
right?
Or woman-made ideas.
Sure.
So it can be similar because that's as far as the complexities of our brain can take us, but maybe there's way more to religion and an afterlife than we can conjure. Because, I mean, when I grew up, I was always like, well, afterlife, I can just have whatever I want. I can have, like, pizza whenever I want. I could have ice cream. Everyone I've ever known is there, and I can drive the fastest car that I want, and that's it. And so,
Jimmy's idea of heaven looks a lot like Joe Dirt's idea of heaven.
I'm gonna have a hot ass blonde chick in my pickup, and the highway never ends in heaven.
Stylish mullet.
But like now, as an adult, I'm like, well, I don't want those things. I don't care. I'm like, I might not even like. And then at what age am I in heaven? Am I the age that I am now?
Yeah.
So it's like how different I view heaven as when I was like 10 as opposed to 33 is so different. Like that just shows me like how little us as humans and these guys that were writing these books back in the day, like they might not have had contact with God at all, and they might have just written all this stuff. And so all these ideas about religion are based off fucking possibly virgin men who had no, like, you know, they'd never been 20 miles outside of where they grew up. And
Yeah, that's true.
they stoned women for sleeping with other men and like, you know.
Yeah.
So it does line up with...
There's a historical context to take in with major religious text, for sure.
And it lines up with simulation theory because these are also lonely men that possibly are doing a lot of acid or, you know, like exploring drugs and like, I don't know, helter-skelter shit and
think
Charles
about that.
Manson. And,
Oh, you're saying
well, just like these scientists, we're
simulation
giving
theory.
them all this credit. And I'm like, well, you haven't proven anything with it. You're just saying, oh, it's like a flat earth kind of a
It's
theory.
a thought experiment. Nothing's proven, right?
Right,
This is all a thought experiment. Even the simulation theory by Nick Bostrom, which is referenced heavily in both in the research, you know, it's just a thought experiment with him. It's but most kind of major scientists, you know, famously like Elon Musk and Neil deGrasse Tyson and all these dudes, they believe in it just because it seems like statistically improbable that we are the base reality. That this idea that if us or any other civilization out there in the universe, because the universe is fucking massive, if any of them have ever even hit that singularity, like you're basically saying that like it's a 1 in a billion chance that we're the base reality, we're the civilization that is also closest to this technology, and that no other civilization has ever reached that capability yet.
Does Interstellar, is that kind of a...
I've never seen it.
No,
Really?
You'd enjoy. I think
I probably would enjoy it.
You'd enjoy like the.
You got
theory of it.
Yeah, it's
you got
like
the place to
Contact.
yourself tonight.
Yeah.
That's what you're doing
Contact.
tonight.
Yeah.
That's what I'm doing tonight.
Yeah.
Well, I got to see when I leave the bunker, you know, because bunker makes me edit the episodes, and then I gotta leave when I can leave. So
Because that's about realities, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, the different pockets, and he like kind of finds himself in. And he's like looking through a bookcase at his daughter when she's like, and then all of a sudden it reverts back to like a memory the daughter has. Yeah.
So no, you've never had any out of body experiences like that where you're kind of viewing life from a different angle, or you're seeing.
I've never done
different
DMT.
realities. No, I haven't. No, I don't either.
DMT would be something I would fuck with because that's stuff that you have in your body and then you just get a lot of it at once. So it's like, let's see real quick.
Doesn't that mess you up? Like after
can.
if you do too much?
I've heard it doesn't, but I feel like DMT is relatively kind of new. So
Depends on who you ask.
Okay, let's do it.
I mean, it only lasts 15 minutes.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's like ayahuasca or those kinds of things where you're seeing different levels of consciousness and you're
It's not like
floating.
acid where it's like half a day, a full day kind of a thing.
Yeah.
In
Okay.
and out.
What do you guys think though about? So let's dive in a little bit to the actual theory of simulation theory, right? So there's 3 different parts of it. Let me get them out right here so I can get them right. There's 3 separate ideations, right? So it's 1, the human species is very likely to go extinct before reaching a post-human age. Now, what we mean by post-human is like singularity. We've reached the physical, the limits of our physical world as far as technology is concerned. The idea of man and machine are so closely related that it can almost not be. You can't distinguish between the two, right? So 1 is we're gonna go extinct. We're gonna kill ourselves. Something's gonna happen.
Yeah.
2, any post-human civilization is extremely unlikely to run a significant number of simulations of their evolutionary history or variations thereof. This can happen for a variety of reasons. One of the reasons that we discussed in the first episode on simulation theory was that that humans will view running simulations as immoral, right? Like when you play The Sims and you torture them. You play Civilization. You make people commit acts of genocide and you simulate war. Lots of other reasons too. Maybe they don't need to. Maybe they don't need to run a simulation of their ancestors because they've got all the knowledge they need, right? Who knows? 3, we are almost certainly living in a computer simulation. Those are the 3 ideals. What do you guys think? Now, Andy was pretty convinced that human civilization will either probably go extinct or a post-human civilization is extremely unlikely because it's immoral or whatever. What do you guys think? You think these post-humans, you think we're going to go extinct?
Absolutely.
Okay, Jimmy, you're pretty convinced that we're going to go extinct.
100%.
Me too.
We got
Nick, you're on board with that as well.
I think I am.
Yeah.
We've made it this far.
Yeah, but
We didn't blow each other up with nukes.
with those
Yeah.
fuckers that started the Industrial Revolution and all that bullshit, modern medicine, how much we pollute, all of sub-Saharan and Saharan Africa is going to be inhospitable. They're all going to have to leave. It's going to be billions of people,
Okay.
diasporas all over the world, and just like it's not going to be sustainable.
Yeah, sea levels.
New viruses,
You guys are
diseases.
You're pretty gloomy.
And to be frank, we deserve it. We're a bunch of jerks.
We have it coming.
We started this. This is our fault.
Humans are beautiful, and at the same time, we do some terrible things.
But what if we go and colonize another planet?
Good luck. Go. Leave me.
Okay. Wow,
Leave
Jimmy,
me
you're
here.
going to stay here.
Why would you want to live on Mars? It's like,
You have to live underground
yeah.
or in domes.
That's like the people that say they don't like the outdoors. I'm like, you're so far removed from being a human being. You're so stupid.
Jimmy loves to camp.
You need outdoor time.
Yeah.
So,
I'm kind of like that though, where I like to just stay in my little hovel.
but then
I
you
like to
turn
leave
into
my
a school
house.
shooter.
No, I'm not a school shooter.
Two generations of indoor people, their grandkids are going to be school shooters. I guarantee it.
I like hiking. I like going outdoors as
See,
well.
you feel good.
I don't like commuting to work, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, who does? It's unnatural.
I like, if I have to go camping, like that's fun. Hiking's fun.
Yeah.
Going outside with your pet,
One with
running around with
nature.
your dog.
Yeah.
Scientifically proven to be good for human beings. So when someone says they don't like it, I watch out for them. And I say, I don't want my kid going to your kid's school.
I feel like Mars is going to be a very expensive trip, and like
Yeah.
not a lot of people are going to be able to afford that.
Yeah.
It's going to be the Elon Musk, all the nerds that are like beta males but just have big brains. And like, do we really want to colonize a new planet with beta males?
No.
These guys that couldn't just enjoy dancing and having sex, but they had to create a Tesla truck that can't withstand a golf ball. These are the people that we're sending into the fucking universe. The Lance Basses of the world on NASA space shuttles. Really?
Lance Bass wanted to go to space, Jimmy. There's nothing wrong. Lance Bass can go to space if he wants.
I don't want boy bands and Elon Musk colonizing, fucking looking for water.
I don't think it'll necessarily just be beta males and Elon Musk. I think there'll be...
We'll get a Bear Grylls.
We'll get a Bear Grylls out
Yeah.
there. You need some Bear Grylls.
It's going to be a lot of white people. That's all I'm going to say. I think it's a whole Nazi thing. Space travel. And let's talk about NASA for a second. Hello? Who started NASA? Nazi fucking scientists.
Well,
Wow.
there's a
They're
lot
still doing it. That's my simulation theory.
We're going to have space police.
Yeah, there's going to have to be some code of who owns that?
Yeah.
Does the USA
Space
own it?
Gestapo.
Does the Earth own it? I guess whoever gets there first owns it.
USA
true.
owns it. We'll flex hard.
Yeah.
Wow, Jimmy,
their
I hope
space
you go out there because you seem to
Elon
have all
Musk.
the answers.
With his space trucks mowing people down.
Kick his ass.
Nick, you're pretty convinced too that
Yeah.
we're gonna. Now, I don't know, boys, because I think there's a technology element. I think we've seen technology advanced pretty fast.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, look at computers, right? Just the other day, Nick, I put a M2 drive into my computer. That is a SD. That is a no SATA cable needed. SD,
What?
that kind of.
What are you talking? What?
It's not a hard drive. It's a. What is?
I don't understand what you were saying.
What is?
It's a hard drive
S3?
without cables?
Secure digital, I guess, is the abbreviation for SD. I didn't really know what it was. Instead of a mechanical hard drive,
Okay.
they're like microchip hard drives, right? So like SD technology has advanced incredibly. Like they used to be super expensive and you could barely get like 50 gigs. Now you can buy like terabyte SD hard drives for fucking
$70.
well, no, not that low,
Oh.
but way cheaper than you used to, and they're getting smaller and smaller. If I show you my M2 drive is about that big, and it's 500 gigabytes.
Okay.
I mean, 500 gigabytes.
It's a lot.
10 years ago was like a fuck ton.
It's crazy to think about.
Unimaginable.
You can have the
Look at
entire
our phones.
history of the world on like a flash drive.
Yeah.
That's insanity.
I mean, think about that. So you guys you're convinced that, like, you know, even with the rate, like Elon Musk says 40 years ago we had Pong. Think about video games today, how advanced they're getting. You know?
So what do they want from us? What are these
higher level beings, you're saying?
No. These Elon Musk types that, like, I swear to God, he's not even a fucking human being.
It's just
He's so awkward and cringeworthy.
Well, I mean, yeah.
And he's got such a inferiority complex about like wanting to do all these things.
Yeah, maybe.
I would love to like find the girl that dumped him in high school and just like, could you please get back together with this guy so we can save the human fucking race?
He's like, he fancies himself like a Batman.
We'd have to get the girl to do an Interstellar and go through like a pocket
Please,
and then
please.
pop back out. Right
Matthew
after.
McConaughey is available to help.
Well, it's clear Jimmy has a very big problem with Elon Musk.
Yeah.
I have a problem with all these guys. These guys are like, they cannot provide for themselves in like a natural outdoor environment. And so they create these problems and these like, oh, we need to like go to Mars. We need to do more virtual reality, and we need to step away from having a job and all this stuff and just have robots do everything for us. So then what are we for?
It creates solutions, but it also creates problems.
Yeah, then we're just fucking pods where it's the Matrix and we're just being bred for God knows
Is
what.
that our future?
Sadly, yes, because everyone listens to Elon Musk.
Nick, what do you think?
I think it is. I think we're
You're headed towards that?
I think we're in trouble.
Now, have you ever heard about gray goo?
No.
One of the theories that thinks that option number one, human beings will go extinct in the near future, is that nanotechnology and quantum technology will get so advanced that eventually we will create nanobacteria that could easily wipe out entire civilizations, and you'd never know it because it's bacteria.
Yeah.
Like, you just send out a nanovirus.
What does that mean, nanovirus?
It's nano.
What is nano?
It's microscopic. You can't see it. It's like a virus that could be programmed, right? Think about if human beings could like have a virus that could be controlled like a computer program. Like if you ever play that game, there's a game, Plague, like the virus, Plague Inc. Is a virus game where, so it's like a nanotechnology that would be airborne. You could wipe, it's like every disaster movie, Jimmy, where it's
how do we create it?
Well, they have, like, there's certain nanotechnologies that already exist. It's just perfecting it. It's
a computer generated virus for humans.
It could be something like that, or it could be like, I don't know how else to explain it. It's like a virus that is man-made. Like it's a computer chip, but it's on a microscopic level that could infect your biological organism and kill you. Like shut down your fucking heart or do something, shut down your brain.
And this is like what the military industrial complex, they're like, well, we can do this to stop wars. Is that how they're getting funding?
There's a million different ways you could take this, Jimmy. I mean, you could see the steps, but what I'm saying is it relates to option number one, that we will go extinct. This is one of the reasons, like people think like, climate change, nuclear war, whatever, famine, worldwide famine. But this nanotechnology, this gray goo, is another option. So think about if somebody evil got their hands on that technology. They could just wipe you out.
Like Elon Musk. So essentially, maybe it's not even that we're in a simulation, is that we're in a non-simulation world, but we've created a simulation theory by creating this computer-generated virus to kill us, making us be susceptible to a fucking robot's virus, and then we all just get wiped out. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So we had a real world, and then we just killed everyone, and made it seem like we were in
I guess we weren't living in a simulation after all. It was just
we just really did it.
We just really did it.
We created one for ourselves.
We wiped ourselves out, and who knows? Maybe we'll be discovered by some other race of being, and none of it matters.
I hope they just enjoy living in a jungle like we used to. I got water and I got some food for the day. Let's sit around the campfire and talk. Get off the smartphones. but keep listening to this podcast.
Thank you, Jimmy. Thank you, Jimmy. Nick, what's your take on that? Does that scare you?
Yeah, it does a little bit, but also too, it's kind of like, I don't know. Part of me, I'm kind of like, I don't know.
You're optimistic.
Yeah, I'm optimistic just because I don't like a lot of people. So, public transportation, you know what I mean? Like really and truly, you could be on driving to work and you can have like 500 less cars on the road. It'd be nice.
Yeah.
No? I think
Jimmy's very much a naturalist. So we've got our Rousseau over here. He wants to go back to nature.
Mhm.
I don't want to
You're
put
much more of a Thomas Hobbes here.
Yeah.
Nick thinks there needs to be a giant god emperor in charge.
a reset.
One good person in charge, the Leviathan. I'm joking here. For all my philosophers out there, that one was for you. I'm smart. Okay. Anyway,
I don't want to put you on the spot. I'm trying to figure out this nanovirus thing. So is it like,
it's just a theory.
oh, well,
But there is
it like how
nanotechnology is like, we're getting towards that, right? Like we're having robots that did surgery on a grape.
but that's still surgery on a grape?
Yeah, you didn't see that?
What does that mean?
They have a robot that is so a surgical robot that is so accurate it could it cut the skin of a grape.
I can do that.
You can't do that.
I could skin a grape.
Jimmy, let me finish. Peeled the skin of the grape off, then closed it and sutured it, like stitched it back together. This is a robot doing this.
I could do that.
I don't think you could do that, Jimmy.
All right. So
I don't think
my
you can
question
do that.
is, my
Grapes are
question
pretty
is,
fucking small, buddy.
Dude.
my question is it like cell phones giving you nut cancer if it's in your pocket all day? Is that what the nanovirus is like? It still translates into real world cancer?
No. I
Because
think
I'm
it
a
would be-
history major. I don't understand any of this.
I think it would be worse than that. I'm not 100% read up on gray goo. Like let me look
it's
up
like
a little bit.
so
of
it's
it.
like the 3D printing of diseases. It's like, wait, how do you print that thing out of nothing?
Okay.
Because I don't understand 3D printing. That's simulation theory for me. I've still never even seen a 3D printer. I don't think they exist.
Oh boy, this is pretty heady. This is not going to help you.
It's fine. I'll look it up on my own time.
I have a link to it. It's super. Some limits to global ecophagy by biovorous nanoreplicators with public policy recommendations.
It's all very scary.
So it's essentially saying that like if anyone ever got their hands on technology that could, a nanoreplicator, something that could replicate something on a nano level, on a microscopic level,
Yeah.
we wouldn't be able to detect it. It's a biovirus that could nano replicate, like a computer virus, right? Like a computer virus can get inside your computer and it can replicate itself, and it can then spread to other places, right? Or you can, like if you DDoS, you've heard of DDoSing, right?
I heard of MS-DOSing.
DDoSing is where like they'll create a program that like sends an overloading amount of signals to a website and crashes it. That's how people can DDoS a website, right?
Okay.
So it's a computer program that just like makes it think that like millions and millions and millions of people are trying to access your server, and it crashes the thing.
Yeah.
And it's kind of the same way with these nanoreplicators. They would be able to maybe they could replicate cancer, because that's what cancer is, right? It's
3D print cancer. That I can understand.
Yes.
Okay.
Think of it that way.
Okay.
But you wouldn't be able to detect it, and it would happen in the blink of an eye.
Yeah, you might have a nano in you right now.
I might.
Like what happens when we get to that level? Like, so we have experience with getting to a nuclear level where we have weapons of mass destruction that can level fucking cities.
Yeah.
We have that. We have chemical weapons. It's kind of agreed upon that we shouldn't use this shit. This is a last resort thing. What do you think happens when we get to the level where we're doing nano wars, where all we have to do is we just have a little USB that you just leave it somewhere and it just spreads an airborne nanovirus, wipes out a whole fucking country.
Yeah. It's just a heightened version of like drones. It's like,
exactly.
there is something romantic about war. That's why people write poems and fucking stories and literature about it. There's nothing romantic about drones. It takes away the human element.
Now, I agree with you with that. We've said that on the past, discussing, when was it? I think probably something World War II related, where we said World War II was kind of the last maybe romanticized war, because it was like, it was very like good versus evil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, kind of, they both had similar might, and it was like, our guys are tougher. We're going to answer the call.
Yeah.
And that's why the History Channel only did World War II stuff for 18 million years, you know? I think there's something to that, Jimmy, you know, but there definitely is something to this sort of detached drone bombing. That's why I think you see a lot more like, oh, drones killed these civilians.
And the pilots have way higher percentages of PTSD than regular pilots.
Yeah.
Because they're just like,
they're sitting in a computer room.
In Phoenix, Arizona.
Arizona.
I was not in danger in the slightest.
Yeah.
And I just killed 40 people.
Now, how does that relate to simulation theory? Do you think that relates to option number 2, where post-humans won't do this because it causes a PT? Like, let's think for an example. Like, let's put this in a context, a thought experiment, right? You're the person sitting in Phoenix, Arizona, driving the drone. You're bombing some country across the world away. It doesn't matter to you. You don't, I mean, it like, you have no reference of it. In the same way, maybe these post-humans, these higher architects are looking down at us, our little simulation, our little Westworld that they've created.
Oh, yeah. I forgot
What do you
about
think?
Westworld.
What do you think? Do you think that they feel some kind of empathy for us or no?
I don't think so. I don't think there.
That's
would be.
interesting that you say that.
I think it's like a video. It's just a simulation. You know, it's like.
When we first discussed this, Andy was on the camp that post-humans will say it's immoral, right?
Mhm.
If you were playing The Sims, and we torture our Sims, I've
Yeah.
done it. I lock them in a room and let them piss themselves because it's funny. But if you knew that these Sims could actually feel that this actually hurt.
But they're still simulations, so it doesn't matter.
Mhm.
Interesting that Jimmy just said that, huh?
Robots don't have rights.
Robots don't have rights.
Okay.
Is that in a movie?
I Robot.
iRobot.
Okay.
I Ribbit.
What do you think, Nick?
That it would be immoral.
Yeah.
I don't think it would.
You think these post-humans would, when we're going to reach that age where we're so close to the singularity, do you think that they've lost all human empathy?
I think there's no human empathy. I think it's just they're past that point. I think they're past human emotions. I think it's, they're just looking for maybe like sustenance, and they're looking to maybe just breed and just.
So you're taking like a Matrix.
Yeah, very
route
much
with it.
Matrix kind of route.
Okay.
I think we're going to create our own simulation theory. I think it's all going to be real man-made stuff like Call of Duty,
Yeah.
first-person shooter kids.
Yeah.
They'll just start actually creating these video games that are actual people that they're killing.
Mm-hmm.
And then all these little like 14-year-olds are going to be like ace crackpot pilots.
Little Ender's Game there, Jimmy.
Actually killing people.
Now, Nick, I somewhat disagree with you because I think that human beings as batteries,
Mm-hmm.
some scientists and there's some thought experiments that have looked into it, we're pretty terrible batteries.
Yeah.
Because you need to like sustain us in some way in order to keep, and we don't generate enough energy. The thought is that technology will advance to a level so advanced that we will have a computer the size of a planet. This computer the size of a planet will be able to run enough enough simulations. It will have enough computing power that it can simulate an entire world. What do you guys think? You think we'll reach that level? Andy was very skeptical of it. I am not. I think we will reach that level easily. What do you guys think?
I don't.
They have quantum computers. Those already exist.
Yeah.
Computers
How big
on
is that? Big?
Microscopic. It's a
Oh.
microscopic computer. You can't even see it. And it can do, it's in the research, the number of calculations that it can do.
Mhm.
This microscopic computer. If I can find it in our research real quick to bring it.
I don't doubt that we'll do stuff like that. My question is just why? I am at the point where I'm like Amish when it comes to technology. Like Amish, they use the wheel. They use things like that.
We don't have, I'm sorry, I was mistaken. We have a computer the size of a sugar cube that can run like 10 to the 21st operations a second.
I don't even know what the
I don't
21st
understand,
is.
but
Can you play Snood on it?
Oh yeah.
Nick's into that. He's like, "Fuck, can I play Snood on a sugar
I
cube?"
fucking play Snood.
But like, this is where I tap out on technology. We have a smartphone. There's literally nothing else you could ask for in life. I don't need a brain. I don't need a chip in my body. I don't need contact lenses where I can watch shit. Like, I'm good with a smartphone.
It just gets smaller and smaller. Like,
I don't need
Her. Have you seen Her?
Yeah, that shit is
Joaquin
so
Phoenix?
creepy.
Okay,
Her.
but do you
Unbelievably
think that we
creepy.
can head there?
Oh,
we
yeah.
will. We are.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
we're getting there.
You agree,
Pretty
and you
close.
agree that it can get even farther to the
Yes.
point where we will build computers the size of fucking planets.
Yes. Because there are guys out there with chips on their shoulders.
Because there's a Elon Musk.
There's 1,000 Elon Musks out there.
Yeah, I think there could be a bunch of planets. I think there's going to be so much. It'll probably have one in every house, like a good size, like a car computer, in like 100 years, just doing a bunch of weird shit, bunch of weird simulations. Westworld.
That's what makes Black Mirror so scary is that you watch an episode like that's kind of
We
already
used
here.
to make it so scary. The newer episodes are trash.
I haven't seen the new ones.
Absolutely. As soon as Netflix took it over, oh god, that show went downhill.
Yeah.
There's like 2 good episodes a season.
Yeah.
They used to all be amazing.
The first like 2 seasons were fantastic.
The first 2
I
seasons
haven't
were
seen
when it
season
was
3 in
only in like the UK.
Yeah.
And they only did like 2 episodes.
Yeah.
That show, I have a lot of strong opinions on that show. It's so shitty. It's stupid. Totally lost. The human element is what makes that show not only the fantastical designs, but there's always like a human element, a human connection, a story that we can connect to. Because it's hard to sometimes connect to science fiction because it's so silly.
Yeah.
It's so out there. And it's like, that's why you need the human element. Or fantasy, same thing. It's like you need the human element of Tolkien books. And you know, the fantasy's fun, but it's like the struggle. Frodo's journey is what fucking like.
Sounds like Black Mirror is going through its own simulation. No more human element.
But what do you guys think? Do you think that the third possibility, if 1 and 2 don't happen, then we're probably living in a simulation?
I want 2 simulation guys to just kill each other. That's what I want to see on TV. Because if it's a simulation, what do you care? You're a sim, you'll restart. Or you won't, and it doesn't matter.
But
So go to war.
I think though to have an accurate simulation, you have to have creatures like us that perceive pain.
But
Pain is a perception, right?
But are there-
Every stimulus that we receive, it's all perception in our brains, right? Jimmy is looking at a Sour Patch Kid, and he's
well, they're regular, and one of them's a cherry drop one.
and you don't like that?
I'm just
They're
I'm curious as to how it got in there. Simulation theory.
the sort of this consciousness thing, right? So it's like we don't necessarily always need to see something or interact with something to see it in our mind's eye.
Mm-hmm.
Our perception, we can perceive things and create things in our own brain. And pain could be like arguably is a perception. People push beyond the pain. Our mind can dull out pain. We can dull ourselves adrenaline to not feel it. We don't always feel it. It's a perception. It's a stimulus, right? So what if these post-humans, these architects of the simulation, they create us. We're a simulation. We're all simulations sitting here. And they go like, well, they're having a discussion. They're sitting there saying, well, it's immoral. We can't have creatures. We can't create creatures that will feel pain and have free will and hurt each other. But we have to have an accurate simulation. And it's all perceived.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we don't actually feel pain. It's just a piece of code in our brains that make us perceive it. And that's how they reason it. That's how these post-humans say, like, well, that's how we'll get an accurate simulation is that we'll look at it as they only perceive they're feeling pain. They're not actually feeling pain. What do you guys think? Nick is like, God damn it, why can't we just talk about aliens? Why did they have to bring us for simulation theory?
It's it, and then like it gets into the thing is like I don't know, like my simulation is obviously different than yours.
You can never know what I'm perceiving,
Right.
Nick. You will never know because it's all in my head.
But that's just human life. If you don't believe in simulation theory, that's the same thing. Like I don't know your life, you don't know mine, right?
That's right, Jimmy. I mean, I think in the end, that's sort of what we concluded on our first visit to this was that even if it is a simulation, doesn't matter. We still need to treat each other with respect. And even if, you can sit here and you can get real fucking sad about it. You can get real deep in the weeds, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's all a simulation. None of this matters. It's all perceived pain.
It's like the hand job of reality possibilities. It's like, okay, that's cute, Mr. Simulation Theory kid, but like, what
There's
is
actual people starving.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, like, all right, let's fuck or leave. Like, I don't need a hand job. What do you bring to the table aside from this is potentially a simulation?
Yeah, Jimmy wants to
it's-
fuck.
Yeah, it's definitely over the pants. Yeah, it is.
Over the pants.
It's over the pants. I think I agree. I don't know. This is look. This is a lot. Simulation theory is a lot.
It's a big ask, Nick.
It's a big ask. And if there's somebody controlling me right now, look, make some better choices. You know? 'Cause
Nick wants a redo.
I want a redo. Give me a fucking raise, you know? Just,
Why did you design me the way I am?
Why am I the way? Give me hair. Give me,
Would you, if you could have hair, would you want it?
Yeah.
Really?
I would.
Listeners, you don't know this, but I know this because I know I'm looking at Nick and Jimmy. Nick and Jimmy are both hairless men.
Yeah.
They have nice beards, though.
Yeah. Yeah.
What did you look like with hair? What kind of hair was it?
It was dark brown, and then
Really?
But yeah, it was a little bit longer. Yeah, it was like yours.
Really?
Yeah.
Nick talks about it like it was his wife that died. Not like a loss, a past wife, like a lover. She was beautiful. She had red hair, and we danced in the moonlight. You bummed me out with it.
I didn't treat it right. And, I should have.
I mean, what were you doing? Were you bleaching it and shit?
I did. I
What
put
were you
lemon.
doing?
Lemon
Did you really
juice.
fuck with it?
You were really doing frosted tips?
I was not frosted tips. I would put like that lemon shit in it during the
Yeah.
summer and turn it like a weird caramel color.
Yeah.
And
You fucked with it.
I fucked with it. And
I don't think that's the reason hair falls out.
I don't know. I wore hats a lot.
Ooh, yeah.
If you have, actually, it's said that if you, well, there's a lot of reasons, but like it's like high levels of testosterone.
Yeah.
That's
There's a
what it
certain
is.
testosterone, DHT, I think it is, or
Oh,
I mean, Elon's got a thick set of hair,
that. Well, there's drugs that can
low testosterone.
that can change it, but they, what do they cause? They cause like erectile dysfunction.
yeah.
Wait, what? Too much testosterone?
Yeah, actually, like too much testosterone is the because that's the reason why like men tend to lose hair and women don't. Typically, I'm not saying that never happens for
Right.
women, because the women do actually also suffer from hair loss.
Yeah.
Sometimes as well. And obviously, you can have thyroid problems and different things that cause it, but there's a certain chemical testosterone in our bodies that causes it to fall out.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And
that also causes.
no, the drugs that they can give you to limit the testosterone that causes hair loss will also has like a
erectile.
50% chance of causing erectile dysfunction.
Then you just pop in a Viagra and live your simulation theory. Is that what Viagra is? A simulation theory? It's like, hey, it's not working, but I'm going to make it work.
It's a simulation of a boner.
Damn, it's
Viagra
not a real boner.
It's not a real boner. It's a simulation of a boner.
I want a
Damn,
simulation theory of an interstellar effect where I go back in time, talk to myself just a little bit right before I start losing my hair, and just be like, "Hey, just chill out. Take care of your hair."
You got a good skull, though.
Yeah,
You have a good head shape
yeah.
for it.
Thank you. And then like
you wear it
then I would,
well.
like
You can grow a beard.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can. I mean, but I would want the full thing. My living wife deserves.
Your second
Well,
wife.
Yeah, my second.
Sorry, Katie.
Yeah, sorry, Katie. She deserves a full head of hair.
Well, I think you give plenty of love, Nick. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know if you're capable of love or not. Sometimes I look at you and I see those cold, dead eyes, and I think, Nick's probably the one who pulled the trigger on the nanovirus.
Yeah.
Somebody wrongs Nick in the smallest possible way, and he's like, all right, well, I guess I'm releasing this nanovirus.
It's a Tuesday. Let's get nuts. And pew.
Nick,
Drops
am I wrong?
No, that's pretty accurate.
Someone cuts off Nick in traffic. He's like, all right,
Yeah,
you're going to get nanovirus.
Yep.
Nick, what are 3 real life people that you would nanovirus?
Right now, do you want the names?
Yeah. I know one of them's a coworker, right?
Let's not name names.
Yeah, well, you can. I'll leave it in. Don't edit any of this out. You can,
All right, 3 historical figures you'd nanovirus.
There we go.
Okay.
3 historical figures.
Okay,
Let's
I
not
would,
get in trouble saying we want to do anything to anybody.
Okay, well,
It's all a simulation theory.
I can't say one because he's currently in office right now, so I can't say that. So I'd have to wait.
Well,
But
yeah,
if it
historical
was,
figures.
I would say, I don't know, John Lennon, I
You
would
would
say
nanovirus John Lennon?
it's just too good, you know. It's
That's
just-
hilarious.
No, I wouldn't do that. I would actually
Especially 'cause he was
nanovirus.
murdered.
I would nanovirus John Lennon in the positive way, so that way when he does get shot, it would repair his body,
Lame.
and that way he would live.
No, the nanovirus kills you.
No, nanovirus, nanotech. I would use. Okay, we're all mixed up here. So Hitler.
Listeners, for the record,
Hitler,
Nick
Stalin,
did not say Hitler first.
No, I did, Hitler.
Stalin killed more.
I
And
would
Mao.
Hitler,
And
Stalin,
Pol Pot.
Pol Pot's a good one. He's a sleeper.
Pol Pot.
Yeah, dark horse.
Yeah.
As far as dictators go, he's a very
Thai
evil
fucker.
guy.
Yeah.
No, Cambodian.
Yeah,
I
he's
said
Cambodian. Okay.
Is that good?
Shout out our Cambodian listeners.
I don't think there are any, but yeah, shout out to Cambodia.
Yeah.
Never been,
Shout out to Cambodia.
you know. Southeast Asia is very cool. I took a lot of courses about South. Anyway.
Really?
Okay. All right, so we're getting kind of heady. Maybe we should talk a little bit about some actual factual science.
Okay.
Let's talk a little bit about the delayed choice quantum erasure,
Perfect.
right? Listeners, in the research, Andy and I talked about the double slit experiment. For those of you who are not familiar, I'm going to try my best to explain it. It's really hard, to talk about these experiments without graphics or seeing what they look like, but I'm going to try to do my best. And Jimmy and Nick, you guys can jump in, right? The double slit experiment essentially fired a laser beam at two slits in like a wall. And then behind the wall, behind the slits, was a detection device, which essentially was a piece of material that when light hits it, it displays a dot or a pattern. So when this laser beam fires all these photons at the slit, they wanted to see what would happen, which direction the slit would take. And essentially what happened was when the scientists were detecting the photons, they changed their pattern from a wave to a particle. And when they weren't detecting them, they would be a wave and they would be like a big clump pattern.
Right.
When they were being detected, they would just be a slit pattern. Like there would just be two lines when they were being detected and then we weren't. Very bizarre.
And real quick, the way they're able to prove that the way they're able to monitor is based on the results, not by like watching them.
Right.
Right.
You can't actually watch. They couldn't watch the photons. What it was actually was happening was the detection device was like another beam of light that would come across and say like, oh, it hit it right here, you know? So,
Okay.
Anyway, people looked at the double slit. They said, that's weird. Why is that happening? You know, it's almost as if the photons are changing their detection based on whether or not we're looking at them. So then they said, okay, let's do the delayed choice quantum erasure, which kind of set up the experiment in a similar way, but very different, a lot more complex, and didn't really need a full-on detection device. Essentially what it was they had a laser beam that would fire randomly out of the researchers didn't know. It would fire out of either A or B. It would fire a laser out of A or B. Lasers A and B would either go into a prism. The prism would randomly make it so that it would either go to the control panel, which was like D0, or it would keep going onto many of the other panels. Essentially, they set up the experiment so that D0 was random. The researchers would have no idea. They weren't detecting it. They wouldn't know what the pattern would look like. It could either be lasers from A or B. And researchers or listeners, we'll put a video in the show notes that'll help explain this a little bit better. The other detections, D1, D2, D3, D4, D5, they set up two where it would always be, they would always know which beam would hit it. Essentially, it would like always be beam B or it would always be beam A. And then like 4 and 5 would be random again. They wouldn't know. Where it gets weird is that the particles, the photons that would fire out of A and B were like twin sets of photons. They would fire two at the same time, but the researchers wouldn't know. Is whatever was the control panel would match what its twin was later on in the experiment, right? So the beams coming out of hitting the control at D0 would happen way faster than the ones at D1, D2, D3, D4. But somehow it would know. like the experiment would know that we're watching it, and it would if so, for example, if it was hitting one of the other controls that would only ever show a clump pattern, the control would show a clump pattern. If it was hitting one of the ones that would only ever show a slit pattern, it would also show a slit pattern, even though it was completely randomized. Very weird, very bizarre. What do you guys make of that? This quantum fucking physics shit where it's like, if we watch it, it changes its pattern based on if we're watching it. Like it knows. Essentially, what they kind of concluded was that our knowledge of the system causes different results
Right.
of how the photons will react, both in the past and in the present.
And
Is this the simulation? Are we peeling back the layers? Is the simulation kind of saying like, are we playing around with the code here? Are we getting to that level? What do you guys think?
It's pretty unique. This is a thing where you look at and there's like no clear answer, because you think like it's becoming like aware of, obviously the results, and it's showing what, kind of what we anticipate, and then it just changes course. It's very like it's really polarizing in that regard, where
I keep thinking, is there like another scientist that's maybe a little bit smarter that could just be like, oh, this is why? And you're like, oh, cool. No need to worry about the simulation.
I'm always curious with the variables of this. Like, like, is it like, what time of day is this? Or like, like what are the certain things? But like, it's just so, it's fascinating.
And then the way they measure the results, like,
I'll give you that. There's some stuff happening on the quantum level that we don't understand.
Yeah.
Maybe there's something else at the quantum level that is causing this to happen in the fucking void that is space around it, right?
Now, for a lot of the listeners, maybe, and for myself, who are not very familiar with physics, the last kind of physics I encountered was like Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. What is quantum?
I think it's at like a level of,
it's just really small.
yeah, I think it's, I don't want to be wrong because I'm not smart either, but I think it's like smaller than an atom.
Okay.
I think.
Because
like
I hear these phrases, quantum physics, quantum mechanics, and I'm like, I've heard it, but I've never cared enough to look it up, so I don't know what quantum is. 4 quad? An ATV, I know that's 4 tires.
It's atomic and subatomic scales.
Got it.
Yeah.
So that's real small for you listening.
A little teeny tiny, baby.
Unimaginably small.
Yeah.
And it's unimaginably theoretical.
Yeah.
It's not like there's a branch in physics. I know this. There's theoretical physicists and there's like practical physicists.
Interesting.
And you can take 2 branches. You can go be a theoretical guy and sit around here and be like,
Philosopher.
like, quantum physics, simulation theory, all these things. Like, what would happen?
Yeah.
All this stuff. Like, how do we measure, like, what are dimensions? And then they sit there and just like talk about like, and then there's like practical physics, which is like, okay, let's drop a ball and measure, like, measurements.
Is that what Jeff Goldblum is in Jurassic Park? Not even a bit or joking, but like he's a chaotician. He studies the theory of chaos.
Yeah.
Is that what essentially like quantum?
I forget his role name. I haven't seen the movie in a long time.
But like that's what he believes in, and he has a science behind chaos theory.
Right.
Like, how do you fucking?
Isn't he the one? He's
chaos?
the one who kind of asks, "Is this right?"
Yeah.
Right.
Is
Whereas
this
the other
right?
science
And like,
guy is like
the science of like the drop of water on the wrist.
right.
Like, how do you
Right.
even? I don't know.
What do you guys make of this experiment, though? It kind of freaks you out, right?
I need to
little bit.
physically see where they're doing it, or is it all a computer simulation?
I think they're physically probably doing it in a room.
And they got like a flashlight, and then they got like a cardboard box with.
It's not a flashlight; it's a laser. But
All right.
yeah,
You got a laser pointer, and then
I don't know what the materials are made out of.
it's got an LOL stencil.
I don't know. Maybe they're doing it in a vacuum. I don't know what
Yeah.
they're doing it in. I don't know.
So it's in a Dyson, and they're in a room with this.
That's a Dyson vacuum. That's right, Jimmy. I don't know, man. This kind of
I
stuff
need to
freaks
be
you
in the
out.
room. I need to physically, because I learned a little bit from the video, but I'm also like, what? And why did you name all those little deflectors those? I need to know why they're named, like the DO.
I think those just
Two.
probably like That's just like
Scientists.
science stuff. Like, why did they call? Like, why is delta always the symbol for change in physics and stuff?
Yeah.
Like, delta is always the.
Okay.
It's just, I don't know, science.
It's
they name shit.
nerve-wracking. It's really nerve-wracking.
Yeah, it messed you up, Nick.
It did. It messed me up because, like we were talking about with like technology advancing so far, but we're still kind of like pondering why these certain things are just showing up as certain, and yet we're still like developing these technologies that are like, in 10 years, we're going to have like something like we're talking about.
Self-driving cars are around the corner,
yeah,
boys.
It is.
I've been saying it.
Not while I'm around.
Throw-
I'll get them.
You got golf balls ready to go.
Art, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
All right, let's say all of this is true. It's Wizard of Oz. The curtain's been pulled back. It's just a man on an organ with a microphone.
We find out simulation's real. We see the higher architects.
Does your
Truman
life
Show. We Truman Showed ourselves, right?
Does your life suddenly become GTA San Andreas?
No.
No? Do you want to still play by the rules in The Sims?
I mean, man, that gets super fucking depressing. I think they would wipe us.
Yeah.
I think they would wipe us before we
Let's say
discover it.
only you find out.
Only me?
And
God.
Nick and I were in another simulation where he got a thick set of hair. We look like two Roman coins.
Yeah.
But in this simulation, we're ugly bald men.
You're not an ugly bald man. Come on, give you guys
I'm trying to get you
credit.
to kill us.
I'm not going to kill you. I'm not going to kill people. What
If
the fuck do you think I
if
am?
you knew without a doubt that this was a simulation, you wouldn't go nuts.
No, I'm not a killer.
Not a killer, but just like, oh, I'm going to drive my car. If I run a kid over, fuck it, let's go, baby.
I don't know. Like,
I'm going to get this simulated
I need
gas
more.
in my car.
Like, I can still die. I can still leave the simulation. And when I leave the simulation, I'm causing real pain for my loved ones.
Yeah.
It's simulated pain.
Yeah. This is like,
But-
this turns into like an H.P. Lovecraft kind of story
A
where you're
little
like, you
bit.
have like this wealth of knowledge and you're like, everything is crazy. And
So what about Bob? Or not what about Bob?
I think
Groundhog's Day.
I think what I try to do, Jimmy, really is break out. If I know that the simulation, it's simulated, I try to break out.
Full Truman Show.
I try to Truman Show.
You can't break out, though, if you're in a computer program.
You just give up so easy. You just lay down and die.
If
Jimmy
I'm
Gribbin lays down and puts his ass up in the air to take it.
If I'm not Jimmy Gribbin, if I'm a fucking character on San Andreas, what do I can't crawl out of the PS2. What if our life is a PlayStation game, like
World of Warcraft,
and you're playing it? You'd be like, yeah, this little troll or whatever from World of Warcraft can't crawl out, so he's gonna kill someone, and then he dies, the character dies off, and that's it.
or I try and spread the word. I got to do something. I got to get more numbers on my side.
Yeah.
That's what they're trying to do right now.
And that's full Lovecraft. You're like crazy and you're trying to like
I'm not
explain,
crazy.
but you'd sound crazy and like you'd be trying to convey like this idea that like, hey, this whole thing's made up.
Twilight
Yeah,
Zone.
Twilight Zone it, and then like people are like, "Now you're fucking crazy,"
We just wrote the best episode of Black Mirror that they've had in like 3 or 4 years.
because there's a human element to it.
Jimmy, I'm not going to kill anybody and I'm not going to drive around like a madman because there's still rules within this simulation. I'm still going to get locked up or killed by the police.
So you're that much of a team player. You find out there's simulation
But I don't
theory.
get-
Hold on.
I don't get
simulation
reset.
theory. You find out that it's all simulation, and then you're like, well, 6 a.m. I got to go to work.
Well, maybe
You're
I
going to
don't-
go to work?
Maybe I
You
don't do
coward,
that.
knowing it's a simulation?
But I'm not going to drive around and pretend it's GTA because, Jimmy, there's still rules. If I die, I'm still dead.
Right, but what does it matter? You're not a real thing. You think you are, but you're not.
But I still want to live out my life. I don't want to, I'm like, oh, okay, well,
This a fake life that for someone else has no value.
a fake life is still a life to me. It's like,
Damn.
it's
fair,
like,
fair.
it's still my life. I only get one.
Bon
If I
Jovi.
find out, I find out it's like a Groundhog's Day or like, what's that? There's that Tom Cruise movie where he can reset time if he dies.
Oh, Edge of Oblivion.
Edge of Tomorrow.
No,
Edge of Tomorrow.
Edge of Tomorrow, yeah.
Oh, Oblivion's the clone movie.
Oblivion's the clone movie.
I like
he did.
both of them.
Both are pretty decent movies.
Edge of Tomorrow is fun.
Edge of Tomorrow's really fun,
It's
plays
great.
with timelines.
Yeah.
But if you found out something like that, it's like, then okay, yeah. All right, then I'm game.
I would be too paranoid. I would rather deal with a simulation theory rather than that, because what if you really go over the edge, over the line, and then suddenly that day's like, oh no, that's going to continue. You're like, oh fuck, I killed a bunch of people,
that
and
movie-
this time it does matter.
But Jimmy, that movie sets parameters. He's a soldier on a mission.
Yeah,
So he's not just like a dude who has like a family and a wife and like kids to take care of and like, I mean, then now you're getting into like it's like, even if it's simulated, it's kind of like, well, this is what I've been dealt. I guess I'll fucking deal with it.
I feel like that's Tom Cruise's life. It's just simulation theory.
What's
Scientology.
there's a film I keep thinking of referencing. It's a Jake Gyllenhaal movie. Is it
Enemy.
Source Code,
Oh.
where he's that soldier and he's like basically like just like a head, and he's like a head with like a heart, and he's like in this machine,
It's a
and
jarhead.
it's a whole simulation. Yeah,
He was in Jarhead.
yeah, he was in Jarhead.
He was he?
Yeah. He was the jar.
He's got you there, Nick.
Yeah, but touche, man.
Anyway, sorry.
It's Jake Gyllenhaal, and he goes through this like whole scenario, and eventually at the end of the movie, he's basically like, "Kill me! Like I got to get out of this simulation."
Damn.
Yeah, and then they put a pillow over his face or something. I don't know, unplug him or something.
Yeah, if I found out I was not real, I would just say, all right, watch this. Hold my beer. I'm going to have a fun 2 hours on Earth, quote
Yeah.
unquote.
I could see
man.
you doing that, just skydiving, into
Going crank.
into like
Like
a-
going
I would try and
crank style.
skydive into Putin's house
Oh yeah.
and just like kill him
Putin.
by skydive, like
Yeah.
pinpoint accuracy.
Can I-
Drop kick.
Can I change one of my my 3 people that I would kill?
Sure.
I think I would do Putin.
Okay.
Putin would be
You throw the nanovirus.
maybe
Putin, who else?
Hitler, Stalin.
Okay.
I don't know. Oh, Potts. 4.
I'm going Putin, Steve Jobs, and Haley Joel Osment.
Oh yeah.
Why Haley Joe? What's he done?
He ruined Sixth Sense for me. I couldn't stand that kid.
Haley
The
Joe.
whole time I'm like, I don't care if you're dead. He's a terrible
You're
actor.
gonna
Spoiler
be
alert.
dead. Yeah.
This ASMR actor.
Spoiler alert. 99. Spoiler alert, baby. Yeah.
We haven't even talked about, like, if we are simulated, if you think about it, the computer wouldn't need to do that much. It only needs to really simulate the macro things around you that you interact with every day. Like if you're reading a book, the feel of the book, the smell of the book.
It's doing everything because our
The
thoughts aren't
pages.
original. The thoughts are coming from a player.
Yeah, I mean, it has to simulate you, but what if there's only a few people simulated
Mm.
and everything else is real? Or everything else is fake?
So I'm just watching like a car, like not actually move, but like I perceive it as moving
until you touch it.
until
Maybe.
I touch it. That's crazy.
Well, think about
what
how
do
many
they want from us.
microscopic things that you don't need to know until you get down to that level. It really only needs to do your mundane day-to-day stuff
Yep.
that you interact with every fucking
Your
day.
little bubble.
And think about, you've seen deep fakes, how fast our AI technology can learn today,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
I mean, a computer the size of a planet would have no problem understanding your routine every single day and just fucking putting it on autopilot.
So
right?
you're saying my daily, if I work in an office, I go from Addison Red Line to Lake downtown. It's literally just like, all right, we're going to do like not a shutdown, but like sleep and everything around Chicago, quote unquote, and the rest of the world.
You
And
don't
it's-
know what's happening around the rest of the world.
But yeah, all the lights are just on from where I go. Yeah. Okay, I get that. Put some planes in the air.
yeah,
Put a fucking architecture boat tour go by, and then
yeah.
Truman
couple
showed up.
birds, yeah.
okay,
Exactly. Truman
All right.
showed up.
all right.
Getting
I'm
you guys a
coming
little
for
bit
ya.
more on board.
I'm coming for you, simulators.
All right. Well,
I know where you are.
I still have another question for you guys, but I think maybe it's time to get to our verdicts. What do you guys think? So, Jimmy, you've been on the show before. Unless there's anything else you guys want to discuss. Real quick.
There's always a lot of stuff I want to discuss, but
Okay,
it has
I know.
nothing to do with simulation.
I know. We'll have to bring you back for some bigger topics here, Jim. You got opinions. Nick, you never been on the show, but this is kind of how it works. It's you're gonna give your verdict on a scale of plausibility, where plausible is in the middle, and you can either go to less plausible or more plausible. You understand that? What I mean by that?
Yeah.
So you can be plausible, then you can go plausible minus, plausible molecule, plausible smidge. Actually, plausible smidge, plausible molecule, and then case closed. It's completely untrue. Or you can go plausible, plausible plus, highly plausible, case closed, or case confirmed. It's 100% true. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's kind of like you start at 50 and you go either to 100 or 0, right, Jimmy?
Mhm.
Which one of you wants to go? wants to go first?
I'll go.
Okay, Nick. And you can split it up as much as you want.
I think
Plausibility that we go extinct. Plausibility that post-humans don't do simulation, et cetera, et cetera. We are living in a simulation, you know?
I think the plausibility of us going extinct it's highly plausible.
Okay.
I think with just where we are and given the overpopulation, I think there's going to be a definite disease. I don't know if it's going to be nanovirus or what, but I think it's going to be a definite. We're going to get some free range, free space, free living quarters. And then the second one, what was the whole, what was it? Sorry.
That post-humans will reach the ability to run simulations of their ancestors, but won't for various reasons. It's immoral. They don't need to, whatever.
I think that's plausible. I think it could be. I think there's a good chance of that. And then are we in a simulation right now?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's smidge.
Wow.
Smidge.
Wow. Okay. Wow.
Smidge.
Okay.
Hot take.
A
Plausible
smidge of plausibility.
Smidge of plausibility.
Okay.
Smidge.
All right. James.
I think it is 100% proven that we're going to destroy ourselves.
Wow.
Because we've allowed lesser men to rule. And I think it's 100% case closed, not possible that there is simulation theory. Because there's no love that can be created for when you fall in love or when you own a dog.
Wow.
Or when you see a sunset. I don't care if you're Elon Musk, Steve Jobs, Francis Ferdinand. I don't care who you are. I don't think you can create a simulation.
Francis Ferdinand. I love that band.
Yeah, I love that band.
Take me out.
To the ball game.
That's,
Okay.
that's
Jimmy, wow, you are polarizing.
Yeah,
to say
it's
the least.
I think we're going to create so many problems for ourselves with AI and, well, what about rights for AI? And, well, what do we do with all these millions of people with no jobs because we just allowed people like Jeff Bezos to just run us into poverty by buying on Amazon because you can get a dildo delivered in an hour because you can't wait 3 to 4 business days like
And
an
who
adult.
doesn't
you
want
gotta
a
get that
dildo
dildo.
Like an
delivered
adult.
in
Got
an
it.
hour?
Wait for shipping. Wait for shipping. I'm sick of you. I'm done. World for now.
Wow. Wow, Jimmy. Impassioned. To say the least. They can say a lot of things about you, Jimmy, but they can't not say you're impassioned.
Thank you.
Okay. I believe the last time on this show I said highly plausible we are living in a simulation, and I think I'm still there.
Oh,
All right.
But it doesn't matter. We still gotta live as if we aren't. That doesn't mean that you can walk around and treat people like crap.
You can't just steal their cars.
Can't
That's
steal
right.
cars. You're not living in
got a hug.
Got to try and do
Nice.
our
You gotta
best.
hug strangers. Let them know you care.
Yeah.
We go extinct. Plausible minus.
Oh,
Plausible minus. I'm gonna give an optimistic look on life. I don't know if we human beings, man, we love to fucking survive. We'll fucking beat it out.
It's coming.
We adapt. We're the top of the fucking food chain. That's what we do, baby. We're humans.
Yemen's about to become the first country with capital with no water. It's all being brought in from other countries. It's the first one.
We're still gonna make it. Human beings, we survive, baby.
We'll see. Good luck, Elon.
Whether, technology, I'm like, case confirmed. Like, yeah, we could get to the technological level to simulate a universe for sure.
I always think about like people that are in like a comatose state, and then like I wonder if they would be the first subjects of like this, this reality.
That's Black Mirror, isn't it? The old
take
ladies.
their consciousness and put it. That is
Yeah.
Black Mirror. There's the one where it's the old ladies and they're.
That was
Oh,
actually a good
yeah,
one.
that's
I love
right.
that episode.
That was actually a good
Yeah.
one.
It
That
was
was
a
one of
sweet
the,
one.
It's like
the
the
new
only
ones that are really good. You want to know why? Human element into it.
Bingo.
That's like the only nice episode of Black Mirror, I feel.
Yeah, and they're like living as if they're like young teens
Yeah.
and they're kind of in the 80s and they're living their life again.
Yeah.
I like that, and I like Titanic, the movie.
Oh, another
The sweet old lady.
altered reality movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
Where she's actually she's dead
Mm,
and she's reliving her past.
Right.
yeah.
Well, listeners, that was our verdicts on this revisiting of simulation theory. Thank you for sticking it out with us, even though it was all simulated. Let us know your thoughts. Send us an email, mrbunkerpod@gmail.com. Tweet at us or slide into our DMs at mrbunkerpod on Twitter and Instagram. Use the hashtag. Boys, you got a fun hashtag?
Drive safe or don't.
Hashtag drive safe or don't. Maybe. I will see.
Does it matter?
Hashtag does it matter?
Oh, yeah.
Ooh, that works on lots of different matter.
Matter cannot,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's
Okay.
a good one, Jimmy.
Hashtag does it matter.
Hashtag does it matter? Let us know your thoughts. Jimmy and Nick, what do you guys think? If you could create a matrix, simulate your own little world, would you do it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow,
I
both
would.
of you said yes.
In the
Yeah.
real world, if
Yeah.
I could like hypnotize everyone, yeah.
Yeah. I would take certain elements, like I would take like my wife, my dog, my family, and then like just I don't know, just do a bunch of it'd be like going to Disney. I could go literally to Disney World.
You would create your own little Westworlds, both of you.
Yeah.
This is incredible.
I would I would just use it in the real world, and I would solve all the world's problems in 48 hours. If I was in charge of everything,
Yeah.
done deal. Everyone's going to be okay, but there's going to be some big changes. We'll get into it in the next
You're fired.
episode.
You're fired.
You just said a really great argument for why a post-human civilization would create a simulation. Maybe they're dealing with something they don't understand,
Yeah.
and they want to see what a simulated universe would do.
Yeah.
You know
to
what I
fix
would?
it.
You know what I would do? I would do trading places for every single person on Earth. Whoever has the most amount of money and whoever has the least, and change their jobs like in the movie. And everyone's just going to be like flip flopped
Man,
and
you
just see what
just-
happens.
Wow.
Fuck with that universe.
Yeah.
I see.
Now, this is they feel things. They feel pain. They feel
Mm.
love. They
Yeah.
perceive it. You know it's not real because
Yeah.
you created it. It's your computer creation, but to them it's real.
I just want to just
And
like
both
have
of you
a
are
good
going to do
time.
that.
Mm,
You just
I
want to
mean,
have a good time.
Yeah, just have a good
You're
time.
just a
like,
sick little fuck.
Yeah, I just kind of selfish. Like the world's kind of gonna go to shit. So just like
And you can just turn the lights off on them at any time.
Yeah, at any time, and I probably would accidentally be like, oh, I forgot.
Nick would accidentally burn his toast in the morning and
Yeah.
be like, fuck, well, I'm gonna kill the whole civilization today.
This is their fault, and delete.
Wow. Andy and I both said no, and you guys immediately were like, hell yeah.
Yeah,
I'd save all these dummies. Yeah.
yeah. I'm sure I do some positive stuff after I get like my selfish like urge of like just kind of like relaxing for like a week. Just
Yeah,
like
you'd make two people fuck.
yeah, I'd make
and
two
watch
people
them.
fuck, and just like I don't know,
Sicko.
just take like weird shit and
Sick
like
fuck,
yeah,
Play God.
yeah, like.
Make them fight.
Yeah, make them fight after they fuck or fight fuck, you know. And
I'm just
then,
going to take their smartphones away
yeah,
from them.
Yeah, yeah.
Jimmy's gonna create his naturalist paradise.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And then my wife and I would just kind of like sit back and just kind of like laugh, and then like we
Which
like
is a Black Mirror
wait,
episode
oh yeah
where they discover that civilization in their fridge.
I haven't seen that one. No spoilers. I'm going to watch it tonight.
Do you ever think Black Mirror is just kind of like
Oh,
just,
wait.
just like
That wasn't Black Mirror.
is it Twilight Zone?
That was that Love, Death, and Robots show that they did.
Oh, with Matt Damon, where he's a little person?
No.
Yeah,
No.
you can't say that.
It's on
He was a little person.
No,
it
you
was
can't-
on
you can't say-
Netflix.
You can't. say
Tiny
that.
person.
Okay. But I mean, I would have fun.
Wow.
And
I don't know
then-
what to think about that.
Create the fun today.
You're messing with people who perceive themselves to be real. You're playing God, Nick.
Mm-hmm. I'm okay with that.
Aren't
Did-
we already doing that with
Yeah.
vaccinations?
Yeah. Woo.
Oh my God, Jimmy.
God.
When the bell tolls for thee, it tolls for thee.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Designer babies.
Yeah. Designer babies, designer dogs.
Kill them!
You guys heard about this? You guys heard about this?
Follow
There's
us,
a family
hashtag kill designer baby.
who are, oh my God.
Those are the abortions I stand for.
Oh, Jesus. God damn it, Jimmy. There's a family who they're upset that their kid is going to end up like 5'7", or 5'9" or something.
Crucify the parents. I swear to God,
And
crucify them upside down.
They're injecting the kid with HGH to make him taller for them.
The fetus.
I don't know what it is. Someone told me it was like a Radiolab story or something.
Cut their heads off. These people are trying to infiltrate the human race.
Yeah, what do you think about that?
Cut their heads off.
But that's kind of what you're doing.
How?
You're creating a simulation. You're
no,
creating,
I'm
fucking around with it.
I'm doing pest control. That's what I'm doing. I'm not creating anything. I'm just removing people that are problematic, like the Kardashians.
No, you can't. You're not editing the real world, Jimmy. You're editing your matrix.
Oh,
you're creating like a little matrix in a box.
Well, then I would make everyone short, and I'd be the tall guy, and they'd have to worship me.
You already are tall. What?
I'd make everyone 5'4", and they'd be like, "We got to listen to the tall guy."
So that's even more fucked up.
See, that's why I was like, I just want to just have like a nice theme park and just like, just like a relaxing
A
vacation.
Neverland Ranch.
Yeah, just a Neverland Ranch.
Yeah, Nick's gonna make fucking Halloween Town.
Yeah, I would. I would have a little pocket of like Halloween Town, and then I don't know, just like free hot dogs over here. And
everyone would have to respect you.
Yeah, everyone would fucking respect me. Or guess what? Gonna be in a coma.
Wow. Well, listeners, let us know what you think. What are you going to make your own matrix or whatnot? Let us know. Use the hashtag my own matrix. Let us know. What do you think? Are you going to create your own matrix in a box? I don't know if I would. It seems a little fucked up to play with people's lives like that. I can't say I'm not curious. I can't say I wouldn't come over and maybe check one of yours out. But if I would do it myself, I don't know. Real beings that actually perceive and feel pain. Like if I knew that my Sims felt pain when I did that stuff to them, I don't know. But maybe that's what the post-humans look at us. They say, they're just lines of code. They don't feel.
Fair.
They perceive that they do, but they don't actually feel.
True.
Well, boys, thank you so much for coming on this journey. I'm sorry that you had to get captured by Mr. Bunker that you were taken down to this bunker.
Happens to the best of us.
I appreciate you guys coming out. Do you have anything you want to plug? Jimmy, start with you.
Come check out Urban Twists, Second City, Fridays at 8:30 p.m. through December 27th. Geraldo at IO at 8 p.m. Laugh Track 10 p.m. at Tuesdays, and 86K and Mornings with Rooster podcasts.
Both of those, you can find those anywhere.
Wherever you listen to podcasts.
Nick, you want a big plug?
Yeah, I don't have that much.
Okay.
You can just come see it. It's a free show called Skull Mountain every Thursday at the Crowd Theater.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's free. And then you can find me on Fortnite. I play that game a little bit. And it's kind of like a simulation. Any successful people listening to this, like, just understand, like, you know what I mean? It's favoritism. So, good luck, everybody.
Do you play in your underwear?
Any victory royales?
Yeah, I got one last night, baby.
Congratulations,
Thank
Nick.
You. Thank you.
Go find Nick on Fortnite. Okay, well, so for the
I'm such
titular,
a fucking loser.
That's okay, Nick.
No,
Nick, it's okay.
That's
In the
fine.
simulation, we'll make you better.
Yeah, please. I would pay fake simulation money to the person.
Oh God,
Bitcoin?
I would pay Bitcoin.
Is Bitcoin simulation? We can talk about it later.
Just
simulated currency in a way.
like
All right. For the titular Mr. Bunker and for my non-existent copacetic co-host Andy Hart, who wasn't here today, I'm Arthur Stone saying that was the whole enchilada. Yummy.